Euromaxx Highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Hello there and welcome to our Euromaxx Highlights, which are sizing up with these topics this time around. Poignant portrays a British animal photographer in his revealing close-ups. High-tech fashion, a Dutch fashion designer makes intelligent clothing. And castles and vineyards, the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Middle Rhine Valley. Well, if you sometimes have the feeling that your pet is part human, or indeed that your pet thinks that it is part human itself, you are not alone. British photographer Tim Flach also has a good eye for the human nature in animals, and he also has a real knack for capturing their emotional states, even if some of them are decidedly cold-blooded.
The relationship between humans and animals is a complex one. What distinguishes humans as a species, and how much animal is there inside of us? It's these questions that photographer Tim Flach explores in his work. The results are portraits that appear nearly human. Some seem to belong on the pages of a high-gloss advertisement. Many have appeared in important international publications, from National Geographic to the New York Times.
What I'm often wanting to do is place the animal, you might say, out of its context of a jungle, be it, or Sahara, or in this case, the rainforest, and place it against a neutral background so that we can explore what does that animal mean to you.
The photos require a great deal of preparation. Tim Flach takes most of them in his London studio. Today, 2 reptiles are taking part in the shoot. Animal handler Mark Amy has a lot of experience with dangerous animals, and he's been working with Flach for years. Today, he's brought along a Jackson's chameleon and a horned sand viper, an extremely poisonous snake from the Sahara.
Well, both are susceptible to high levels of stress. Vipers particularly, if he starts striking all over the place and estivating or sidewinding, that's not such a bad thing because that's his defense, and then he'll settle. And once he's settled, that's when we're going to get the best shot.
A plastic model is used to help set up the lighting.
If you come in with it, he'll freak.
Chameleons are sensitive creatures. It's important not to place the animal under too much stress. Flach studies the animal's natural behavior during a test run, and then he adjusts his camera settings. He takes just a few photographs, searching for that one special moment.
This thing of not knowing quite what will happen and responding to it. I'm a great believer in the creative process. Although you may set up the framework and invite a particular animal with an idea in mind, the danger is being too locked into that. And it's really important to, in a sense, let things reveal themselves.
His latest book is called Evolution, and it's now also been released in Germany. It's a collection of his photography that retraces the animal kingdom from aquatic creatures to the great apes. Tim Flach has also had numerous solo exhibitions. 2 of his dog portraits have even graced stamps in Britain. He's also done work for major ad campaigns. He originally studied communication design before turning to art and photography.
I'm often playing with iconography in my studio work, often referencing either art or just a relationship to what is the popular or cultural reference to that subject matter.
Prior to Evolution, he'd released 3 books of his own photographs, including ones on horses and dogs. His portraits of bats are almost uncannily human. Other photos demonstrate how humans shape and manipulate animals.
What I'd like to achieve is to really be there as a conduit for as a visual conduit, you might say, a visual kind of catalyst for other voices to use it to look at some of the debates about how we manage animals in the human space, which I believe are some of the prominent questions that lie ahead of us, the conundrums of our own success as a species and what that throws up.
Tim Flach is always looking to capture layers of meaning. Like this snake, its scales enhanced to emphasize their primeval quality. His images let us imagine the emotions of animals and reveal the animal in all of us.
Well, have you ever been stuck without a Wi-Fi connection while out and about? And it always seems to happen at the most inopportune times. But that may soon be a thing of the past, at least if one Dutch designer has his way. Bore Akkersdijk considered the needs of the digital generation, and he is effectively redefining what it means to be connected. Here's more.
This overall is online. The wearer is a walking Wi-Fi hotspot. It might sound like science fiction, but it's high-tech fashion by Bore Akkersdijk. The young Dutch designer has dubbed this the BB suit. He got the idea for it at a music festival.
One thing we needed everywhere is Wi-Fi. You need internet. It's like, okay, let's put Wi-Fi inside. Everybody was talking about wearable tech, and I didn't really see wearable technology, and I thought, like, well, if I talk about it, I really want to wear it. He said, like, okay, now I wanted to make a suit, because I'm partly a fashion designer. I thought, like, yeah, this big jumpsuit, people will recognize, and then they will ask, like, why do you have this suit? And then you can explain. Go into the Wi-Fi. Then we have the BB suit. We log onto the BB suit.
Now the outfit itself is an internet provider. Anyone standing nearby has Wi-Fi reception, and the wearer can be located via GPS. It's a bold idea, but that's what Akkersdijk is known for. Back in 2011, he made waves at Paris Fashion Week with his first collection. Some of the pieces date to 2009 and were part of his final project at the renowned Design Academy Eindhoven. Akkersdijk launched his own label in 2010. He's been able to finance his own designs by collaborating with some big name labels like Nike and Louis Vuitton. Akkersdijk is a visionary. He supplies the ideas and the aesthetics. Then he turns to experts like Martin ten Burmer, who help implement them.
We have the different components here. On one side we have the Wi-Fi chip. So this is actually the source that makes the Wi-Fi network appear for all the people around the suit. We have a battery that makes sure the power is fed through to the Wi-Fi. And then we have the fabric itself, which has the copper yarn. So we use a copper like this, which is really nice because it has a coating, so it will make sure that there's no short circuits in the fabric.
Akkersdijk strives to combine technology and textiles. In this video that he produced himself, he explains his passion for futuristic apparel. And the young Dutch designer is not the only one. Many other designers are pursuing a fascination with high tech. Intelligent fashion, like this solar outfit by Paulina van Dongen. It produces electricity that can be used to charge your smartphone, for example.
People are very used to seeing these solar panels on houses, but the technology is so advanced already that we can have these very thin films that can actually be very well integrated into clothing. I'd like to show people that they can, be truly mobile in a sustainable and also fashionable way.
This leather hat from the British label The Unseen has a mind of its own. It changes color when the wearer has a bright idea. That's made possible by applying a special ink and thousands of mineral stones. They can absorb warmth released by the scalp wherever the brain is particularly active. Designer Lauren Bowker from London uses the results of chemical and biological reactions to lend a totally new aesthetic to items of clothing.
We don't ever call ourselves a wearable technology brand. We're very happy that wearable technology is the buzzword, you know, and the sort of the thing that everyone is speaking about, because it's given us a platform to get our materials out there. But for us, we're about creating stuff in people's lives that really makes them stop and think.
Developing intelligent fashion is a tricky business.
I think the challenging part is standing next to the machine, and small things like, okay, the copper thread needs to go into the machine, but it twists, and the moment it twists, it breaks. Okay, how can we solve this? And then now the suit is finished, but can we wash it? No.
So the suit isn't quite ready for daily wear. That's not a problem for Ackersdijk. For him, fashion design is about playing with ideas.
It's not that we want everybody to walk in this suit. That's definitely not the idea. Our goal for the future is like to create a new platform and to see where usability and user interface can go the moment you go away from the screen and on and around the body.
With his high-tech overalls, Borre Ackersdijk has taken the first steps toward making that vision a reality.
Musicians nowadays don't need the backing of a major label or a recording studio to produce a song. Thanks to digital technology, they can simply make their own tracks in the comfort of their own home. And a new app called Whole World Band facilitates the process and now takes it one step further. Musicians can actually jam with others online, and Rolling Stones guitarist Ron Wood explains how it works.
Work in a filling station, you need the money. Use whatever you want. You can use some Japanese drums or bells or the kitchen sink or just an old tea chest, whatever you want to do. Bang on it, a saxophone, blah, blah, anything you want. Work in a filling station, you need the money.
Ever fancied jamming with a Rolling Stone? Whole World Band makes it possible.
I got my own life, I push your pay.
Anyone can add their own video and audio track to this work in progress. Simi Crowns from Dublin is a regular user of Whole World Band. The tools of the trade here are just an iPad and a microphone.
The creeping amongst us, do the trust, who the love.
There's different options of searching for different types of songs. You can search by genre, you can search by the name of bands, you can search by seed track. Seed track is basically whoever contributes the background of the whole session.
The Nigerian-Irish rapper tracks down the seed and adds new life with his own input. Whole World Band is the brainchild of Kevin Godley, former 10cc member and half of Godley and Cream. It was launched together with an Irish startup.
I suppose I'm trying to create an audio-visual global recording studio whereby somebody in this country can play with somebody in another country relatively easily. I call the technology behind it somewhat pretentiously Digilog, because it's using digital technology to create a fundamentally analog experience.
A virtual studio that you can record in by tapping your own tablet. The network already has several thousand musicians signed up, including the likes of Ronnie Wood, former Police drummer Stuart Copeland, and English singer-songwriter Passenger. And there's plenty of incentive for the big names too.
There's a slight sort of game edge to it, a competitive edge to it. Can anybody out there do something I'm not expecting? And if so, can I use it?
How about some traditional drumming? This Japanese group is taking a time out from their European tour to record a seed track with Kevin Godley. They love the idea of collaborating with artists from other genres.
The name Whole World Band says it all. This program allows us to communicate musically with people all over the world. You perform together and create new music in the process. It's exciting.
Users can buy a recording session costing a maximum of €6.23. If a composite song ends up being released, all the artists who contribute get a share of the proceeds.
It's, I think, the first time we've monetized sharing. we're breaking down barriers to something that was traditionally very closed and exclusive, you know, where musicians hid in a studio for months recording.
Simi Crowns has yet to earn any money from his contributions, but for the 24-year-old, it's more a labour of love, learning and sharing. And the fun factor is just as high too.
Don't need a full moon to bring the animal out. Don't need a full moon to bring the animal out. Don't need a full moon to bring the animal out. This ain't mechanical styles, intuition is wild, be intuitive and fluid like a fantasy bout.
I don't really see any issues in terms of the two going side by side. The actual live sessions, you know, meeting with people and actually making music in the same environment, and the virtual environment as well. I think it's complementary to each other. So would one replace the other? No. Would the two go together? Very well, absolutely.
Sharing the virtual stage with mega stars or with the rising talents of tomorrow. This app gives you an access all areas pass. Whole World Band, bringing the planet another bit closer in the new digital era of sight and sound.
Well, when you look around, it seems that dealing with today's fast-paced society is one of our most constant dilemmas. But now, aside from doing things like yoga or even transcendental meditation, you can put on what's called a Decelerator Helmet. Now, this is a unique device that slows the world down right before your eyes. Incredible, but true. And it's the invention of a German design student. And although it's still very much a work in progress, the message he's sending is pretty clear. Don't let the world pass you by.
The world is moving faster every day. People are constantly online. They use smartphones and social networks to communicate in real time. People eat on the go. What matters most is speed. Lorenz Podcast wanted to slow things down a bit. He designed a Decelerator Helmet. The helmet makes things appear slower than they are. The front of the helmet has a screen and camera. The camera sends videos of the outside world to a computer inside. The computer slows down the video, then sends the footage to video screen glasses. For the person wearing the helmet, everything outside moves in slow motion.
The helmet lets you slow things down. The idea came from a course at the University of Arts in Bremen, which aimed at developing interactive ways of dealing with our fast-paced society.
Lorenz Podcast wants to help people understand time differently.
Okay, I'll wave now and make some interesting movements, like jumping. I don't know how you're going to feel when you see that. You can tell me what it feels like.
Wait, here I am? Yeah, that's a really weird feeling, because it's so slow. You turn around in circles, and somehow you don't. It's a little confusing, but it's really cool.
Oh, it's echt cool.
In 2012, Podcast posted a video online to explain his invention. It's gotten more than 300,000 hits. Technology blogs and print magazines from around the world contacted Podcast to learn more.
In the beginning, I got a lot of questions from websites. Later, newspapers started contacting me for their reports and interviews. Then I was invited to a number of media festivals and trade shows. In the end, I flew to New York and won a big prize.
People are fascinated by the idea of time control. The most popular film known for manipulating time is the Matrix trilogy. Computer games like Max Payne 3 also use slow motion. Lorenz Podcast wanted to bring that feeling to reality. It took the Bremen design student 4 months to build his Decelerator Helmet.
For the first experiments and prototypes with the helmet, I just walked around with a laptop strapped to a bike helmet. Generally that worked. But then I thought it would be better if I hid the most vital parts.
A metal sphere protects against rain and curious stares. Podcast found and bought it online. His helmet isn't something you can wear all day. You shouldn't walk around when you have it on. The person wearing it loses all orientation. Not all people in the outside world like the concept of a decelerated world.
Sometimes I feel like too much is happening at once. But maybe other people need things to move fast. Sometimes I need things to happen all the time too. Deceleration is a really subjective concept.
Lawrence Potthast's invention is still generating a lot of interest online. His life certainly has not slowed down.
But staying decelerated, we'll finish off nice and leisurely in the Middle Rhine Valley, which boasts the highest density of fortified castles in Europe. In fact, it's so amazing that in 2002 it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Well, tourists flock there in droves to experience that romance of the Rhine that inspired so many a poet and painter. And so in the words of Mark Twain, let's explore, dream, discover.
With the first steamships came the tourist. That was at the beginning of the 19th century. The Middle Rhine Valley was one of the earliest examples of mass tourism in Europe. To this day, the Drosselgasse in Rüdesheim is a must on any Rhine tour. Whole fleets of excursion boats are at the ready. We board in Rüdesheim and travel as far as St. Goar. We pass many medieval castles. There are supposed to be 40 of them. They and the landscape are the main attractions of the Middle Rhine Valley. Picture book towns line the shore. At their feet is the Rhine, at their back, the vineyards. We set course for the city of Bacharach. In the Middle Ages, Bacharach was a major wine trading center. In those days, merchants paid tolls to the owners of the Rhine castles, who grew rich on the fees. Schönborg Castle in Oberwesel. The lord or leaseholder of a castle still has to earn a living. Hermann Hüttel is a third-generation hotelier.
My grandparents leased the castle from the city in 1957 for 90 years. They started with a little newsstand. Over the years, they turned that into a beautiful hotel and restaurant in the castle. My parents took it over in 1982. Back then, it had 14 rooms. Today, it has 22.
Like Schönborg, many other castles are hotels today. Romanticism is big business. Medieval atmosphere with modern conveniences. And a view of the Rhine. We're approaching the narrowest part of the river, the famous Lorelei Rock at St. Gorshausen. Eddies and hidden rocks once caused many shipwrecks here. The Lorelei Rock towers 132 meters above the river. Today, tourists enjoy the view of the tamed river. In the 19th century, artists were fascinated by the Rhine's landscapes. They earned fame as the Rhine Romantics and made the Middle Rhine Valley famous too. In St. Goar, we meet the painter Armin Thomas and ask him what made the Rhine so attractive for the Romantics.
The term Rhine Romanticism refers to a certain way of approaching this theme. Romanticism means the human yearning for a connection between nature and culture. And along the Rhine, especially in the Middle Rhine Valley, there was this ideal connection between nature and medieval culture.
In 2002, the Middle Rhine Valley was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Like the castles, the vineyards are an integral part of the landscape. A closer look reveals shrubs taking over in many vineyards. The young vintners Thomas and Martin Phillips want to do something about that. For years, they've been reclaiming steep slopes near St. Goar that lay fallow.
If you live in a landscape like this and have always worked in the vineyards, then you want them to be preserved. We vintners are landscape preservationists, and we feel motivated by this situation. In St. Goar, we have these fantastic terroirs, or locations with strong, highly mineralized Riesling grapes. This made us want to recultivate these surfaces, to replant them.
The wine-growing estate has its own tavern, a tradition in this region. Our ship turns around. Now the order is full steam ahead back to Rüdesheim against the current. Time to watch the landscape passing by once again from the other direction.
And that's all for this time for our Euromaxx highlights. Auf Wiedersehen and bye-bye.